Your eyes, the heart with your eyes.
Say hello. Hello.
Your eyes, the heart with your eyes. Your eyes, the heart with your eyes. Your eyes, the heart with your eyes.
Hello, guys. Hope you guys doing fine today. Quick mic check, please. Sorry, I didn't. We have a lot of things to cover today. I didn't even run the intro, But let's go ahead and say hello to all of you who are here. Michigan's in the house. Hello, how are you doing today? Uh, my brother Gonzalez, Yuko, my sister from Kyoto. How are you, uh, Yuko? Louisiana is in the house. Blue Star, how are you, Blue Star? Lot of good people here joining us. Thank you so much. We got Justin Johnson's in the house. Thank you for being here. Matthew Akim, how are you? Welcome, brother. So we do have a couple things to talk about today. Finally, I had time to have a haircut. Summertime now, and I had to do it yesterday. Had to find some time. So welcome to the show, everyone. We do have an interesting show. So because of we have got a lot of things to cover, and I even though I planned the show early in the week, as the days go by, some other things come up, and we end up having to adjust sometimes, change a little bit the subjects. So can you guys hear me well? Just need a quick mic check. I think so, right? Thank you. Yeah, I look different, but this is how I used to do shows before without my beanie hat. It's only when winter time, of course, and my hair had grown, so I had to do something. All right, thank you. So, guys, let's get started here. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it looks good, right? It was long. It was like here almost. All right, so guys, let's go ahead and get started. We got a lot of things to cover. And, as I said, I prepared the show during the week. I have a whole thing already prepared. And then, more things come up, and then I try to make room to talk about everything. So let me start by sharing my screen. We always start with the Bible verse, and that's Bible verse Hebrews 1 1 and 2. King James Version Bible, God, who at sundry times and in divers manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days, when the apostles were alive, they were preaching the gospel. Last days spoken to us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, and reminding each and every one of you, who are my brothers and sisters in Christ, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Everything is a spiritual warfare. So we are dealing with people who are fighting against the truth. Just a couple of psyops. Every week there's a different psyop. This guy pretending to be a Christian, he's not a Christian. While Christian pretend to be Christian, burning Quran in front of mosque just to stir things up, to bring more hell to earth. This is what these people do. And you guys probably know about this thing here, what's going on. So the guy was like wearing a mask or something, right? On Fox News. So lots of psyop. The guy clearly wearing a mask. Going on prime time TV, and this is the kind of world we live in. That's the age of deception. In my point of view, we are in Satan's little season, and he's out to deceive the nations. How does he do that? Well, one person at a time, one education department at a time, one education department, and then one university at a time, one president at a time, one prime minister at a time. He's been doing this for the past 300 years or so, and that's going to lead to the final battle against the Lord in the camp of saints. So we're going to be talking about that today. So I do want to start. Let me go ahead and say that's why I changed it a little bit, the topic of the week, and I'll explain to you. So let me go back, sharing my screen. So sometimes I get messages, emails. So this one from my brother Mario, I erased his last name. I don't want him to go public because he's a teacher. He is a professor, teacher, I guess. So hi Eddie, I wanted to tell you what we just passed 30 students in my high school music program who have turned flat, one conversation at a time. Today I'm throwing them a pizza party during study hall. We all fly under the radar. Nobody tells anyone unless you try to help someone individually to see the truth. I always recommend to them your channel. Yours, Mario. Thanks so much, Mario. So there you see, we are doing our jobs. We are doing our job, spreading the truth, the flat earth truth, because this is what not only what the Bible teaches us, but this is what we can observe. We live on a flat, non-rotating earth. Uh, you can see things too far that should not be possible. The stars, the moon, and the sun, they are all close and they are the luminaries. There's no such thing as the universe. The Bible describes them as the constellations of the sky. So very nice. Didn't want to share his last name, but thanks, Mario, for sharing this. Very important, really interesting. So shout out to Chris Wallenfang from Germany. Hello, Eddie. I was fascinated by the Gleason map from the beginning, but it also bothered me from the beginning that it should not be possible to determine the distance of 2 points in a simple way. So I took it in hand and realized it with an Excel spreadsheet. You only have to enter the coordinates in latitude and longitude, and you can read the distance. Maybe you can use the table for your own projects. So I just send it to you. Best regards and greetings from Germany. Thanks so much, Germany. Thanks so much, Chris. I will share this with you quickly. So he actually sent me two things, how to calculate sunrise and sunset on the Gleason's map. But I will share with you guys all of this next week. Okay, as I said, I planned one thing this week, but a lot of things came up. I had to change the subject a bit. But I will share all this information with you. This is the he created an app. I will share with you guys. You can calculate this sunrise and the sun setting or the sun going away on the Gleason's map. And this one here, very interesting. This is what he's talking about the calculating the distance. Hold on, guys. Think it froze here. Yeah, I guess it did. So I will explain. So he can on a spreadsheet we can calculate. One guy, his name was Elmo. Long time ago, he I have a video of him teaching how to do it. But now in this way, it's frozen. This thing here is frozen. So yeah, too bad. But I'll share next week. All right. Okay, so he calculated the distance, the size, everything on the Gleason's map. I don't want to try it on this. This is what sucks about these programs nowadays. Everything is a subscription. But I'll share this in detail. I will, instead of using Adobe, I'll just transform these images into like JPEG or something and share with you next week. Don't want to mess with this. Now, sharing these messages, I get most of the time 99% are good messages, good emails. Sometimes you get some people who are very aggressive or they call me names, stuff like that. I had a lot of a message like this when I came out as a little seasoner, someone who believes that we are past the millennium kingdom. So I got an email different this week. That was last Monday, just when I finished the show. I got this email. I'm gonna read it to you. Well, I got a PayPal notification. Somebody sent me $1. This guy here, his name is Timothy Gilmore. I'm not gonna say where he's from, like city, state. I don't say bad words here. I don't say cuss words. I've been doing this show for 10 years. You will never find any of the shows where I say any cuss word. I'm just gonna read this, okay, to you. Leave the device alone, bastard. He's selling a goddamn book, bitch. Okay, so that's his message. So let's explore. I start thinking, I tried to think about it. Okay, let's study the mind of this person. Okay, all right. So this is a headline from a Brazilian newspaper. I translated it into English. Mother and husband arrested after wife asked daughter to disregard abuse of stepfather. So, reading the story, and I watched a video about it, you see that the lady, they are very poor, poor people, you know. So the stepfather, he is the one who banks the home, you know. He's the breadwinner. Let's say that he pays all the bills, you know, power bill, rent, electric bill, whatever, gas. So the lady gives him a pass because he's doing these things, you know, and she even, uh, you know, there are many cases like this, but she even gets mad at her daughter, telling that her daughter, who was a child, you know, like 11 years old, should not say anything. You know, let the guy do whatever he wants to do because he's bringing the bread, he's paying the bills. All right, that's the mentality of this lady. She was arrested because what the guy was doing was a crime, regardless whether he was paying the bill or not. So just in February, about 2 months ago, we had another situation very similar. This pilot, this is the moment he was taken into custody. He was about to take off. Pilot from Latam fires pilot accused of heading child sexual abuse network. And then I'm going to explain to you what's going on here. This pilot from the south of Brazil, which is wealthier than the north, taking advantages of free trip. You know, he could fly for free, stay in hotels for free. See, he was helping families, helping. So he would travel to very poor states in Brazil, stay in poor cities, and offer women like to pay their bills. You know, I'll pay your power bill, I'll pay your rent. Just bring your teenage daughter, your uh, 11-year-old, 12-year-old daughter. And he had done this for over 10 years. And if you look at the case, most cases, the women protected him because he was doing good to them, you know. He was taking care of the bills. He was paying the bills, you know. So he was like a hero to them, you know. So Latam, you know, Latam is a big airline in Brazil. It's a mix of Brazilian and Chilean airline. They merge it together, and they do fly the flights, from Santiago to Sydney, and he was taken to jail. So according to this guy, because David Wise is selling my books, I should not expose, all the things that he was involved with, which is the whole cover up with TFE. So look at the mentality of this person. So I try to dig a little bit more, look at the psychological side of this. There's a movie back in the 90s. I like this book. It's based on a true story. So forget it's, I don't know, it's Hollywood actors, but the story is true. And I would recommend this book, this movie any day. It's very nice. A little bit of a spoilers if you haven't seen. Champagne here and Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox, they were soldiers in Vietnam, and his battalion. He did this. Some Fox is the sergeant or something. He was the leader of their battalion something. And the sergeant and some soldiers they were involved in actually going to villages, taking young women, girls, and doing what they had to do with them. I mean, what they did. Not that they had to do, but they did bad things to them, abused them, and killed many times. They killed these women after doing, and they kept doing that stuff. So in the movie, Michael J. Fox, I forgot the name of the soldier, the real guy, but he tries to talk to his superiors about it to tell what's going on. and they had the same response that this guy Timothy here. You know, leave those guys alone. They are fighting for your country. They are fighting for freedom. You know, all that stuff. And he keeps going, trying, to go to this leader, to this guy, and nothing happens during the whole movie. You know, they try to kill him actually until the very, very end when he had no hopes. He found somebody who heard him and took it to the upper level, higher, really high level. So a very interesting movie, right? So I dug a little bit more. I want to read this stuff to you. So I did a talk to ChatGPT and discuss these situations, and that's the response. So there isn't one single perfect clinical term for every version of this behavior, but several concepts from psychology, sociology, and ethics describe it closely. The strongest matches are moral disengagement. People justify or excuse harmful acts because they believe the cause, authority, or benefit is more important than the victims. This fits the soldiers saying atrocities were acceptable for the country or for freedom. The concept is strongly associated with Albert Bandura. Complicity, knowingly enabling, protecting, or remaining silent about wrongdoing because of loyalty, fear, benefit, dependence, or self-interest. So this guys, when this whole TFE started, and I started noticing what these guys were doing, especially Jaron Campanella and David Wise. David Wise was protecting Jaron like crazy. I'm talking about like sending mails. Why are you saying this about Jaron? Oh, I stand with Jaron 100%. Look what you have started. And I understand. Like we're gonna get there, but the what this guy said, this Timothy guy, is like I should not expose anybody because he's doing something good. But let's move on to this, and then you see, I will conclude this part. Enabling behavior, enabler. Common in psychology and abuse discussions, an enabler protects or excuses abusive behavior, because confronting it would threaten security, comfort, finances, status, or emotional stability. The mother, in your example, would often be described this way. So, talking about the mothers allowing the guys to abuse their children because it was beneficial monetarily to them. So, according to this guy, Timothy, I should not have said anything because it was more beneficial to me, uh, you know, to be friends with these guys. And I didn't look at this side. I just saw that what they were doing was wrong. And that's why I sounded the alarm. What they were doing was wrong, and no, I didn't measure the consequences. A little bit, you see, they all hate me. Even the Glober says that all these flat earthers hate me. They think I'm an idiot or whatever. It's because of this, because I spoke out. In their conception, I should have been quiet, not said anything, let them do what they wanted to do. But that was the wrong thing to do. Okay. So systems justification, a social psychology theory where people defend harmful systems or authorities because they depend on them or want to believe the system's legitimate. So, you know, trauma bonding or coercive dependence can also apply in abusive households when a victim or family member protects the abuser because they are financially or emotionally trapped. So it's not my case. Uh, my books are free. Have been my only book is free. There has been one website alone, over 30,000 downloads, but there are many other websites out there. So, it's not my case. In ordinary language, people might also say they rationalize the abuse, they were complicit, they prioritize self preservation over morality, they enable the abuser. The military example especially overlaps with obedience to authority, group loyalty, nationalism, and moral disengagement. The family abuse example overlaps more with enabling, dependency, survival based rationalization, and coercive control. So if you want one broad umbrella term, complicity through rationalization or simply enabling are probably the closest everyday descriptions. Right? So I'm trying to understand this message because this guy he sent me $1 just to tell me that I should have enabled, not said anything about the device. And last night I got another dollar, saying the same things. But let's look at the Dave Dewey side. So what you describe is often understood as a form of grooming, especially when the help of generosity is intentionally used to create a dependence, silence, loyalty, or obligation before abuse or exploitation happens. Some related terms: grooming, building trust, emotional dependence, financial dependence, or gratitude in order to later exploit or abuse someone. This term is often used in abuse psychology, not only sexual abuse. So this is very interesting because this is the game that David Weiss plays. He approaches you, he approaches almost everyone who is new to flat Earth, and he sometimes, I've seen him uh, tipping like $100 in super chats. So it's a way to buy some sort of trust, and to build trust or to buy fidelity. I guess that's to create. Well, let me go on. Coercive control, creating a power imbalance where the victim feels unable to resist because the perpetrator controls money, housing, emotional security, status, or survival. Predatory behavior: when someone strategically targets vulnerable people and invests resources in them, expecting future control, access, silence, or compliance. So many people under their umbrella, that have been, uh, I think, supporting TFE because they fell under this. They became dependent, the sales from the Flat Earth app, all that stuff, and that bought their silence. So they became compliant, and they now saying that there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, all resulting from this experience. Manipulation through indebtedness, not a formal diagnosis, but a recognized dynamic where the perpetrator creates a sense of you on me, you know. So they devised when I started finding, that's weird. Why you guys are involved with this? Why are you guys involved with Duffy? His response was, "What? Do you think I'm a shield? What? Do you think I'm a shield?" That was his response. So, I mean, patronage abuse or exploitative dependency, sociological descriptions where support is given conditionally, so the receiver becomes submissive or trapped. See here? No, not me. I wasn't trapped. I wasn't submissive. In psychology, this connects strongly to reciprocity pressure. I helped you, so now you want me. That's the thing. He's selling my book, so I should not be saying anything. Power asymmetry and conditional generosity. A key difference is intent. Healthy helping, expecting nothing exploitative in return. Thanks so much. Some people have been being so nice, helping out without asking me, don't say this about David Wise, whatever. Manipulative helping is an investment towards future leverage. So that's describe a lot, the action of these guys. The perpetrator may consciously think, after everything I've done for them, they won't expose me. That's very common in abusive family system, cults, trafficking, corrupt institutions, exploitative relationships, and even some political or military environments. A darker everyday phrase for this is buying silence, creating dependency, or keeping someone indebted. You were pointing at a very psychological and social pattern, and your examples were actually pretty insightful distinction between people who enable wrongdoing and people who strategically create dependency to protect themselves later. Those dynamics show up in families, institutions, politics, abusive relationships, blah blah blah. Well, this is the rep, So there you have it. So according to this guy, I should not be saying anything because the guy is helping me. No, not me. Okay, this will not happen here. These guys threw flat Earth under the bus. For those of you who are not in the US, don't understand this expression. It's not literally, as you see here, Jaron, Austin, and David Wise throwing a flat Earth map under the bus. That means betraying. Okay, that expression really means betraying. And these guys did betray flat Earth. For the whole time, Mr. Wise was protecting the Jaron Campanella. If I ever one day, I don't want to open those old messages from Skype, but cussing me and saying why I'm doing, he was 100%, supporting Jaron Campanella. Jaron wasn't a Glober, and we knew he was a Glober the whole time, all that stuff. How to help this guy here, who is now begging for money, and I think they are operating Plan B. I think Plan A failed miserably, so they are operating now in Plan B. He went to some shows this weekend. You see here this lady. Well, what's good, guys? These people are exposing themselves. So you see this lady here welcoming this, uh, calm man. He went there. He went to this other show here, Real Science Radio. Same people related to Bob Enyard and his 2017 plan to send a flat earther to space. So these guys are operating in Plan B, and I cannot understand how someone who doesn't believe in flat Earth can spend so much money, time, and resources fighting against something they say does not exist. You know, so it's much more than that. They are trying to uh, label flat Earth as a cult. This is in Spanish, the same thing. The flat Earth is cult, right? That's what they are trying to do. He's going to these shows, you know, spilling a whole bunch of nonsense, all because these guys helped him, was under their paycheck here, helped him. They are using them to go ahead and tour and spread all these lies. Pretty ridiculous. All right. So no matter what, okay, this is the Bible. My old Bible shows proof that we live below the firmament. This is the New American Bible. There are several other Brazilian Bibles, old Bibles, 1700, 1800, 1900 Bibles. And no matter what, this is the flat earth before biblical cosmology, before Josh Monday and Will Duffy. And that's going to be biblical cosmology after Josh Monday and Will Duffy. Nothing's going to change. The Bible is a flat earth book. It won't change anything. Okay. What they are doing, they're just destroying the belief in the Bible. Now, one thing, the craziest thing that I've seen is this one right here. Shout out to Flat Earth Deplorable. He told me that this guy, what's his name? Kent Hovind, is going to join forces with atheists to fight against Flat Earth. So you see this Hydra, where you see all these Globers. You see here Jaron Campanella, atheist, or I mean anti-Christian, anti-Bible, joins hand with a pastor who is joining hand with uh, another dinosaur pushing, you know, fake, you know, I don't even can describe this guy who is joining forces with an atheist who he debated years ago, who is joining forces with a, Bitcoin guy. I mean, it's so crazy. It's amazing how Flat Earth is bringing all these enemies together against Flat Earth. And, bring me the popcorn. I just like to see how these shields are exposing themselves. You see all these guys joining hands against Flat Earth. I just like it. I just have fun, yeah, watching them. Um, they will never deceive the elected. The people, the children of God, they will not be deceived. They can only keep other people from seeing that they would not see anyway. You know, I think these guys are fighting against the creator, of course, and that's pretty, amazing to see what these guys are doing. Now the guy behind TFE, he displays his loyalty, whatever, on his Facebook. You know where he comes from. Floppy Davidson, he already had this lady here during the 2017 Flat Earth Conference. All these guys just exposing themselves. Josh Monday, from intelligent design to Big Bang monkey science. There's no way for him to defend the Bible as a inspired word of God, going back to the globe as he is trying to do right now. It's going back. You know, he, in my opinion, was a plant. Here you see him just 8 months ago going to this guy, Apollo the Original, and talking about biblical flat earth. But 8 months ago, he had been in touch and talking with Jaron for 2 years. So was he, just pretending here, central casting? So I'm working on a longer video on him, but I'm waiting. Vika Draziv is covering his show that he went to see the Glober Yabamate or whatever his name is. And I'm waiting. I think that they concluded it today, so I should have a video with everything. So stay tuned. When you see this thumbnail, you can watch it. It's a video about this guy. Again, he is deceiving right there. You see, because he's going to observe the sun. That's not an experiment. Same thing as Dave. What's his name again? Will Duffy, right here. Flat Earth conspiracy got started with an experiment. It wasn't even an experiment. So these guys use lies and lies and lies to, push their globe ball Earth agenda. So I want to share this thing here, and that's not from me saying this is a glober. Sorry, guys, I'll catch up with the chat in just a second. I just want to share one more video here from my computer, and this is a glober. Let me start with you. This is a South American glober, Latin American, not South America. I think it's from Mexico. And he was debating a flat earther. They were talking about the sun, and where the guy was saying like the flat earther was talking about the sun, and this guy he was saying in Spanish that was not an experiment. So I tried to translate it. I used the 11 Labs. It skipped the guy's voice, but I will explain to you. Let's go ahead and watch this thing.
You have not done it at all.
I'm talking about the brightness of the sun.
No, you haven't done it. You haven't experienced it.
Yes, I have done it. I always do it. I always observe it.
Did you do the GoPro science experiment? Yes or no?
Yes, I have indeed made the more.
So this guy wearing yellow shirt, he's the glober, okay? And the guy, they were talking about the observing the sun. And so right now, 11 Labs muted the guy, the glober. But I'm going to have to play him in Spanish, and then I'll translate to you.
The observation you asked for, I have carefully observed the sun while it is positioned directly above me, just as it is beginning to rise.
No lo has hecho.
Yo hablo de la luminosidad del sol.
No, no lo has hecho. No lo has experimentado.
Sí lo he hecho. Siempre lo hago. Siempre lo observo.
¿Ya hiciste el experimento científico GoPro, sí o no?
Sí, he hecho la observación.
So what he's saying in Spanish is like, I don't accept this as we are observing. That's not a scientific experiment. It's not scientific, and he keeps repeating that. That's not a scientific experiment, and that's what it says here in Spanish. An observation is not a scientific proof. Okay, he's saying this is the glober. So they change, they call it an experiment when it's convenient to them. So he's saying that's no, as scientific. It's not a scientific experiment. It's not a proof because it's not scientific. Now, when the flat earther was using his observation of the sun, he claims, oh, well, that's not a scientific proof. But these guys are using their observation as proof, as calling it an experiment. So you see the double standard there. So let me catch up with the. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't been able to catch up here. I do hope you guys understood what I was trying to say with this whole um, Timothy guy trying to tell me, to shut up because Dave Dwyer is where he's selling my books. It's just like the mother telling his daughter, shut up. He's paying the bills. I mean, that's the mentality of some of these people. So let me see here if I. Yeah, way to go, Mario. Thanks. Yeah, Mario did a great job. So I'm gonna play a video here from Mr. No other than Mr. Darren Campanella. That's when he 10 years ago when he was paid to pretend to be a flat earther. So he was doing the job he was paid to do back then, and he was uh, you know proving the Earth's flat. So listen to this.
So this is the cheapest test you can do, also the easiest test. If you do the mirror test, all you need is a camera, a mirror, and 2 people. Okay, and you have somebody go to where there's a body of water. Monterey Bay works great in California. I don't know where else you might want to go. But this body of water across here, let's say we're 25 miles. 25 miles is 104 foot of bulge. If you don't know how big 104 feet is, it's a 10-story building. It's huge. It's like the Jesus Redeemer statue in Brazil, right? That's 100 feet. So in between 2 people 25 miles apart, there's supposed to be a 104 foot bulge. Now, if you go out and have this guy hold a mirror, and you have basically the light's going to be coming obviously like this. The light rays are coming down. Oops, sorry, this thing's in the way. There we go. So if the mirror's coming down and it's flashing on this mirror, and then you have somebody with a camera over here who's just looking across the water and trying to pick up the mirror flash. The thing about a mirror flash is it's a line of sight observation, meaning, and you can go do this right now in your front yard. Take a mirror out with your friend, start flashing the sun at them, and then get behind something like a car, garbage can, anything. The second that mirror is occulted, meaning the second that you don't have line of sight to the mirror, you lose all flash. So when you're actually seeing a mirror flash, and you can prove this right now, you will see that it's because you have line of sight between you and the mirror. Now go out to a water 25 miles apart and watch this person zoom in and pick up this person doing the mirror flash. Here's one that they did in Monterey Bay with a P900 infrared. Again, we can show you where the cameras are. Look at this mirror flash. How are you seeing a mirror flash? They're supposed to be 100 foot. No, they're doing 18 miles, I think. So it's like a 60 foot hump. But 60 foot is a 6-story building. How would we be seeing a mirror flash from the other side of the water when there's supposed to be a 60 foot hump in between you? The answer is there is no curvature on Earth.
The answer is there is no curvature of the Earth. They did the same experiments in Brazil, in South America. They went to Lake Titicaca in Bolivia, 40 kilometers, 25 miles. So there should be a Christ the Redeemer statue size bulge in between, one shore to the other, and there is none. So Earth is measured flat. It is flat. We have from the 1800s since the Bedford Canal experiment. That's an experiment. So many experiments done, and every time you see a circumnavigation, they go south. They sail south towards the Antarctica ring, and then they have to turn left and constantly keep turning left around to go around Antarctica. That's another proof experiment right there. So we have so many of them experiments proving that the Earth is flat and stationary. But these guys appeal to observations, and they call it proof when it's convenient to them. But when it's not, they call no, it's not a proof. This is not scientific. That's the way it is. All right, so I'm still gonna go back to the comments, guys. So let me finish this part, I want to cover a little bit of the Millennium Kingdom today. We're going to move on to the little season after the break. So I displayed this image here of observation of the sun coming from the east towards the west. So I did another one in South America. That's also in Brazil, actually. So because the equator cuts Brazil here, and we have people. My father was born right at the equator, in a city right here at the equator. So, one step north of the equator, if you're facing south, you see the sun rising on your left and right and setting on your right. But one step south of the equator, you look north and you observe the sun rising to the right and setting on your left. So it's really confusing to me to understand that George Monday, being an army veteran, being trained, as he said, trained, you know, doesn't know this concept. It's so easy to understand. And he fell for the Jet and Campanella lie that the sun in the south rises right and sets left. That's ridiculous. And one more thing I want to explain here. We know, according to Newton's first law, if an object is in motion, it will stay in motion unless a net force acts on it, right? So we have this problem here because the movement of the sun is not uniform. It means it does not move exactly 15 degrees per hour. So I explained to you guys, I played the US Army video from the 50s. I want to play it again, but if you want me to play, I'll play it again. So why that proves that the Earth is not a globe? Well, because you cannot have an Earth rotating, because in the heliocentric model, it's the Earth rotating, not the Sun. You cannot have in the heliocentric model Earth rotating 16 degrees per hour and then accelerating 21 degrees in the next hour. What's the cause of this acceleration? And then reducing down to 14 degrees per hour. And then again, reducing to 8 degrees per hour. You cannot have this on the heliocentric model. All the buildings would, crumble. It would tip over. And everything, there would be no life on Earth if that was the case. All the oceans, all the tsunamis, you cannot have. And then accelerating again to 19 degrees per hour, and then again to 23 degrees per hour. And then again to 12, reducing the speed. You cannot have that. But that's what the sun does. Does not have a uniform rate of motion. I'm going to play that video again. So on the flat Earth, it doesn't matter because we don't feel anything. We are stationary. So what can happen is you feel more heat. If the sun is taking longer above your head, wow, it's really hot today. Why? Why do some days feel so hot? Well, maybe because the sun is taking longer. Because it does not have a uniform rate of motion. Sometimes the sun moves 23 degrees per hour, sometimes 80 degrees per hour, and then goes up to 19 degrees, and then 15. So if you go around here, it's 360 degrees, 24 hours. But each hour goes in a different rate. So on the flat Earth, it's okay because we are stationary. What can happen to us is just that we feel more heat. And that's why I think some days are really hotter than the others, like some moments of the day, because the sun is stuck above us longer than it should, But that's how the sun goes. Let me go ahead and play that video again, just for the record, okay? It's this one.
Using ancient man's concept that the Earth is stationary, we imagine the celestial bodies on the celestial sphere to rotate from east to west.
The apparent motion of the sun is not uniform. For this reason, it would be difficult to construct a clock capable of keeping this irregular time. Therefore, a mean or imaginary sun is used. This mean sun is assumed to have a uniform rate of motion with respect to the Earth, and that rate of motion is equal to the average rate of the apparent or true sun during a year. The time measured by the mean or imaginary sun is called mean or civil time. The time measured by the apparent or real sun is called apparent time. As the mean sun is imaginary and the true sun does not have a uniform motion, how then is correct time to be determined in actual practice?
So the true sun does not have a uniform motion. That's why it doesn't work. It destroys the heliocentric model, because you cannot have Earth rotating, because in the heliocentric model, what causes this the sun, the time zones, or it's the Earth rotating that shows the 24 hours and the 15 degrees per minute. But it doesn't happen like that. So we cannot have a heliocentric model, because an object in motion, it will stay in motion unless a net force acts on it. And what's the force that is acting? Slowing down Earth and accelerating Earth in an hourly basis. We don't have that. It cannot exist. So this thing can only be explained on a flat, non-rotating, stationary, God-created Earth, not a result of a Big Bang. So this is this is the flat Earth and the sun moving around. Just remember the story of the sundial of Akaz, or the clock of Akaz, whatever, in the Bible, where the sun returned at 10 degrees. So let's say here, this is 11 degrees right here, close to 10. No, there's a 10 degrees right here. Okay, so let's say that that day the miracle happened, to the sun going faster. The king said, well, that's easy. How about going back 10 degrees? So imagine that day in the Bible, the sun was here, and the king says, well, I want to see the sun going back 10 degrees. So the sun went back 10 degrees, perhaps right here. These things can only happen on a flat, non-rotating Earth. So that's why I don't understand, Judge Monday. What kind of biblical cosmology is it going to defend now? The heliocentric model, that cannot work. You cannot stop the rotating Earth. You cannot make the Earth go back 10 degrees like we have in the Bible, the story in the Bible. All right, so that's why I say these guys are all central casting. That's all they are. So I want to read these comments by True Christian here. The easiest and surest way to know if someone is a shield, in my opinion, is to see if they paw around with the other non-shields, which Josh has always done, because he's always been one of them. But there are some exceptions to that rule, like genuine people who legitimately had become fooled by shields like Austin, but who admit that they had been fooled and they have now repented from being paused with Austin. By the way, Josh also made a comment on Austin's channels about the first video that Austin made a few weeks ago. After returning from his Austin's absence, Josh was expressing how much he missed Austin and how he is very happy that Austin has returned. After reviewing the information you've shared with me, I now see what they are using Josh for. A lot of Christians think that he is a legitimate Christian, so they want to use him to fool Christians who already accept biblical cosmology into going back to the globe, because the role model, Josh, will have done so, and he will be encouraged them to do so too. Also, they want to use him to convince Christians who don't know a lot about the topic never to consider it, because Josh will probably be saying things like, I researched flat earth very extensively and even believed it for 4 years, but then I did a scientific experiment, which is not, and I found out it was false. You don't have to make the same mistakes as I did. Instead, you can learn from my experience and don't fall for the flat earth hoax like I did. I hope you will talk about Josh's upcoming flip-floppiness on the show to let everyone know. That way, when it becomes official, hopefully way less people will be fooled by it. You got ahead of TFE before it happened, and that helped a lot of people not to be fooled by it. This situation is the same principle. So that's what we are saying here. We are saying these guys are central casting, TFE, she's exposing themselves for everyone to see. Let's go ahead and listen to our first song. I'm going to go ahead and play this song while I try to catch up with uh, the chat. I'm trying to find the song here. Where is it? All right, well, let's do differently. Okay, I'm going to play a different song now. Not a deal you have heard before, but some people were asking me, well, how come you have 30,000 subscribers, questioning me, which is not a lot. These guys have 150, 200, 300, whatever. What caused me to gain a lot of subscribers was actually the pandemic, or the scandemic. For some of you who don't know, when this lady here, I'm going to find her picture. I don't think I can say her name, but I'm going to show you her picture. If I I found it here because I got two. In the past, I got 2 strikes at once. I was very close from losing my channel. But I'm going to display her picture real quick. This lady right here, okay? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say her name. But this lady, this nurse right here, all right? So what happened is, when that thing happened, what's happening, I watched a video, not a video, I was reading an article on an Italian website where that was the first time that I saw that she had passed, okay? She wasn't alive. Got to be a little bit cryptic here in the language. So what I did, I translated that stuff into English, and I created a video about it. And I uploaded the video. And I went to, brush teeth, do something. It was early morning. 10 minutes later, when I got back and I checked the video, I had 35,000 views in 10 minutes. 35,000 views because I was the one who broke that into the news, like that she had, was me, in English, because I had seen it in Italian. I had so many messages, all those, the big channels, small channels, they were asking me, sending me messages, and I gained so many subscribers with that, and I took down that video. I took down more video. Everything related to the pandemic, I had to take it down because every time I uploaded, it was threatened. It was a guideline, a community guideline, or a strike. So that's when I really got a lot of subscribers. Was in that time. So I created a video, and I don't know if I should play or not because it's related to that. I don't want to take chances. So let's go ahead and listen to the North Pole song since we're going to be talking about the Millennium Kingdom now.
Take your trip down south, a bit of fun to do. I hope you find what you're looking for. I pray you don't turn blue. I am lured up to the north, a feeling stuck like glue. I sense the answers that I seek on a mountain called Nauru. I'll be welcomed a hero for making the dreadful trip. Making the dreadful trip with hugs all around from the flat earthers who followed the same script, I feel I could trek with compass in my hand, keep my sights on the needle north, wind up in a far off land, become a bold explorer, traversing sea and land, perhaps a little pirate-like, with a cutlass in each hand. I'll be welcomed a hero for making the dreadful trip, making the dreadful trip, with hugs all around from the flat earthers who followed the same script, followed the same script. I know this sounds like a pipe dream. Maybe I've lost my grip. Maybe this is a call to someone with a ship. Perhaps it's just a shout out to all the dreamers. I'll be welcomed a hero for making the dreadful trip, making the dreadful trip, with hugs all around for my fellow flat earthers who followed the same script, followed the same script. I'll be welcomed a hero for making the dreadful trip, for making the dreadful trip, with hugs all around and fellow flat earthers who followed the same script, followed the same script.
All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much. I got a few comments here that I want to highlight. All right, and put on my reading glasses again. Jesus, the way, the truth, and the life. Everything and everyone else needs to be experienced in it. Yes, Christ is King. Brother, amen. Christ is King. I love my new t-shirt, been wearing it. I had to tell people who I had ridiculed in the past that they were right after all. Well, you know, that's funny because when I was 35, I heard a guy saying that we never went to the moon, nobody ever went. And I ridiculed the guy, and now I can't apologize to him because I don't see him anymore. But he was right the whole time, you know. When I woke up at 50 years old, it was like a kick to the groin and took about 6 or 8 months to get over it. It took me, I realized in December of 2015, I started making videos in April of 2016. So it took me like 3 to 4 months to cope with. It was hard. It was really, really hard, you know. Been studying the leader season for the past 2 years. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about. See, my time is so short. It's at 11:06 already. My time, and I still want to talk about a couple of flights. You're going to cover the little season. So let me cover this. That's why sometimes I don't look at the chat, guys, because I have a limited time. But let me cover some flights here that I want to cover. You know, this whole thing with David Wise and my book, they, you know, like they talked to me once. They want to like promote more my book, and they want me to send like 10,000, and they want me to make some change. But I wrote the book. I know what I wrote. I know exactly why I use the maps and everything. So I don't have any problems with that. Let's look at they claim, some people claim, oh, you know, if it's not the circle route, it's not correct. No, the circle route is just like the imaginary sun. You know, it's imaginary. They don't fly their routes. You know, no, I'm not going to say in any cases, because what they do, they take the flat Earth map, they trace the flight route on that map, onto that map, and then they wrap around the ball. And sometimes flight route will look similar because it's just a flat Earth map around the ball. So look at this guy. He flew from Sydney to Johannesburg, supposed to be a famous guy of some sort, and he filmed his trip, right? So this is the flight route according to whatever the application you use, Sydney to South Africa. See how far is Antarctica. Let me just play. And so he took these pictures from his plane window. So it doesn't really match, if you look at the flight route supposedly on the globe with taking pictures from the window, of the ice. It doesn't, right? And this is another glober. He just placed this video on his TikTok saying that this is the flight back from Johannesburg to Sydney. And no, where is Antarctica? Where is the snow? You don't see anything like that. That's what they claim. Right, that's what they claim. So you don't see anything. And then you have these guys posting pictures showing, oh, that's why it's no. It doesn't make any sense. It's not, it doesn't make any sense at all. All right, this is another flight that's on the globe, on the uh, what's it called? This Great Circle route shows one thing, but when you see the path of the flight, it makes no sense. This is on the globe according to Flight Radar. That's the path. How can they even stop in Moscow for an emergency landing? There was an emergency landing from Chicago to Doha. They stopped in Moscow. When we look at the flat Earth map, it makes perfect sense. But when you look at the flight route, and it's not even the Great Route Circle. Okay, this is according to the waypoints. And we have flights like this one here from Brazil to Brasilia to, it doesn't make any sense. Why don't they just fly here according to the Great Circle route? Now they had to stop in Tahiti. Okay, prior to that, they used to stop in Los Angeles to go to Sydney. But because the US is requiring a visa for transit, so many people don't want to pay $300 for a transit visa. So they're flying now to Tahiti to go to Sydney. And that's the flight path. And why don't they go here? Well, they don't have the right aircraft that does that flight because you got to have a special aircraft. So I could go on and on, we see Amelia Earhart here, how her she flew around, she didn't complete the circumnavigation, but if the Earth was rotating, she would never be able to make it, those cities, with the Earth rotating under. That's what the pilot said. He said the Earth rotates under the plane. And these ones here, these flight routes do not exist. No flights over Antarctica proves that the Earth is not a globe. So many things, So let me rush, guys. I got to talk about Satan's little season. So why I believe that we are now in the post-millennium. Well, even this is music can be divided into the following stylistic periods. So they always cover the Middle Ages, these 1,000 years here. They call the Middle Ages, right? 1,000 years, they say nothing happened, people didn't evolve, nothing happened, which is quite the opposite. That's mostly where they got all the technology. They hid a whole bunch of things from us and they used themselves, some of it. This one here, another period talking about, I don't remember what they were talking about here, but you see the 1,000 years, they call the medieval period or early modern era. Again, 1,000 years, they call the Dark Ages, and everything started here. Okay, Renaissance, right? Enlightenment. Okay, that's when Satan was loose from the pit. Timeline of democracy, again, they call the Dark Ages, the period, between 500 and 1500, laws of democracy, Dark Ages. So that's how they label what I believe to have been the Millennium Kingdom. they label it as, because Satan is the light bearer, so they call the opposite, that when he was in the pit, we were under the dark ages. And one more reason, I explained this last week, I no longer believe dispensationalism, because dispensationalism is a new kid on the block. It just came around the 1800s, and it was heavily pushed in the 1900s, the C.I. Scofield Bible. So all the Assembly of God's Church, the Pentecostal movement, spreading this idea of a third temple, it doesn't make any sense. So these are Bible passages, and I thank my sister in Christ, Yuko. She sent this to me a long time ago. So according to this, also there's the whole thing of the timeline where years were added, fake years, entire 100, 200, 300 years, 400, 500, 700 years probably was added to the timeline, and they were faked, you know, just to hide the millennial kingdom. So according to this 1500s Geneva Bible, the dragon is let loose after 1,000 years in 1073, and Gregory VII, being Pope, raged against Henry IV, and Emperor was excommunicated of the decretals, and most cruelly persecuted the Emperor Frederick II. So indeed, according to this comment, the devil was released in 1073, 1,000 years after the destruction of Jerusalem. So we are really divided. I'm divided between 79 or 80 AD. That's when I believe the sun went dark for 18 months, according to Revelation chapter 6. And that's when the millennial kingdom started. And it was a spiritual kingdom. And I was reading this week also on a book talking about the Byzantine Empire. How the Byzantine Empire existed was a kingdom of light, while most of Europe was deep into darkness. So the Dark Ages perhaps was where Christianity was not present yet. You know, that's why they call the uh, Dark Ages. I saw, so many things to talk, guys. So little time. I've been going on for almost see 1 hour, 10 minutes. I appreciate, I try. It's too bad that I cannot interact as much as I wanted to, like replying the comments, because I only have time to do the show once a week, and I accumulate so much stuff during the week that I want to share with you guys. But the most important that I wanted to take it from today is that the sun does not have this uniform movement, which totally destroys the heliocentric model. If an object in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon with another force, but cannot be speeding up and slowing down. Oh, Mauricio, this is a good friend from Brazil, living here. Actually, he's Japanese. He has dual citizenship. Hello, Mauricio. Bom trabalho. Good. Have a good day at work. He's telling me he's going to work right now. So you cannot have in the heliocentric model a ball that speeds up and then the next hour slows down and then speeds up again and slows down. Think about all the tsunamis and there would be no living organism on this ball Earth if that was the case. But on a flat, non-rotating Earth with a stationary Earth and with the sun moving on top of it, it doesn't matter if the sun, like in the Bible, stood there for almost a day, like in the Joshua 10. It doesn't matter. It won't make a difference here. You know, it won't matter on a flat Earth. But on the ball Earth, it doesn't make any sense. So there's no biblical cosmology on a ball Earth. You know, these guys, if they keep the name biblical cosmology using the ball Earth, it's just more Schillingism. Just more Schilling, central casting people. So, guys, I'm gonna play another song. I'm not gonna close the show yet, so hang around. I wanted to play two songs today. Let me go ahead and play the second song, which is a Little Season song here. I think I'm gonna play the letter J. It's a very beautiful song. The letter J. Where's the letter J here? The letter J. Where's the letter J? CIA song, Satan's Little Season song, that tree, that's a good song. Artemis 2. Oh, okay, the letter J.
I sat in the pew last Sunday. The preacher was sweating, shouting about a tribulation coming our way, waiting for the temple to fall, waiting for the end. I just looked down at my Bible, Matthew 24. Jesus looked right at his disciples and said, "This generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled." He wasn't talking to us, he was talking to them. Year 70 AD, the stones came down, the fire fell, the judgment came. They kept us waiting for a train that already left the station. The preacher man sweats in his tailored suit, selling us fear from a bitter root, saying wait for the rapture, wait for the beast, while the serpent is dining right here at the feast. They read the good book, but they twisted the time. They buried the kingdom and covered the crime. The tribulation happened, the temple is dust, but they keep us in cages of future mistrust. Oh, the 1,000 years of peace have come and gone. We ain't waiting in the dark for the rising dawn. Read Revelation 20, it spells out the trees and the devil's out the pit for his little season. We ain't waiting on a savior to conquer the night. The king is on the throne and the victory is tied. Yeah, they stole the timeline to keep us afraid, but the remnant is walking right off of their stage. I walked down the street to the old courthouse square, looked at the granite that shouldn't be there, a building too grand for the horse and the car, a relic of ether, a masterpiece of art. I brushed off the dirt from the cornerstone grave and looked at the letters where the old history lay. It said J760 and 4, not a 1 but a J for the king of the sword. They added 1,000 fake years to the line to blindfold the people and fracture the time. They called it the Dark Age, a primitive past, to hide that the kingdom was built here to last. Oh, the 1,000 years of peace have come and gone. We ain't waiting in the dark for the rising dawn. Read Revelation 20, it spells out the trees and the devil's out the pit for his little season. We ain't waiting on a savior to conquer the night. The king is on the throne and the victory is tied. Yeah, they stole the timeline to keep us afraid, but the remnant is walking right off of their stage. The 1,000 years are expired. Satan is loosed from his prison. He's deceiving the nations, but he can't touch the crown. Check the cornerstone.
All right, guys, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. Shout out to that channel. I forgot the name of the channel, but all the songs are on the playlist. Just go to my channel, playlist there. Go ahead and share that real quick. And I appreciate all of you guys who are here today. Thank you so much. I just have to thank you. And now, as I said, I always try to bring always good flat earth proof, to prepare us from, protect us from the lies, the globe lies and the deceivers out there. This is my channel. If you're not a subscriber yet, I just uploaded a short from the video I did it like months ago or two, talking about this flight that has a weird pick up the GPS in Dallas. Like what's this supposed to be under the ball? Why is it picking up, GPS from Dallas? Okay, so if you want to support the channel, these are the ways you can, you can shop in the store. I the minimum that like the other day I got $10 for the sales of the book because I don't sell books like most of the books are free. You can download for free. So the other day, Lulu, it's the publisher for those who wants to have a hard copy, they transfer $10 to me. That's you know, and this month Ricky, who prints my maps, $45. So that's what you see. That's not something that I am doing it for money. I actually started selling maps because people ask me, say, Eddie, you display those maps, you remodel, you work on them, you restore them so beautifully. I want to have some prints. That's why we decided. But it helps a lot because I mean, it's a little bit, but helps because what's going on in Japan now is pretty crazy. I just got news of another family who's been living here for 20, 30 years. They have house and everything. They're selling everything and they're leaving because they don't feel welcome anymore. They don't feel secure anymore. The problem is like in Japan stopping time, in the 80s or 90s, while the whole world technology advanced, the Japanese kind of was stuck in time. And they are blaming all their problems on foreigners. You got like 1% here, foreigners maybe, who, and they are blaming. And then, many people are feeling insecure. So we end up losing business because I depend on the Brazilian community. Here, we teach English to kids, mostly from the Brazilian community. And these families are leaving, they're leaving. From the peak, the Brazilian population in Japan in the 80s or early 90s reached 300,000. It's now down to 126,000. And many more people, since the prime minister took over, about 1% already left, and they're going to leave, Um, so, it helps a bit. But if you want to support the channel, whatever you want to do, but everything is free. Everything is free here. Download books, maps, everything, right? I appreciate if you can do that. So I want to highlight a few comments here. Very interesting comments. Dark Ages, but there was no wars. Exactly, Dark Ages, but some people, I don't listen to Jay Dyer a lot. I heard a couple clips of him on TikTok because on TikTok they just have some clips. And some people told me, well, don't listen to Jay Dyer because he is a Freemason. But recently he did a debate. He debated two Freemasons, and he debated on the grounds that he's not a Freemason. He defended the Orthodox Church, the Greek Orthodox Church. So I'm confused now. I don't know whether he is a Freemason or not, but he debated two Freemasons defending the Orthodox Christianity. And I heard a video of him. He was speaking very nicely about the Byzantine Empire, how they are the ones who created hospitals, orphanages, everything for the poor, take care of the poor, of the sick, the elderly. It's everything came from the Byzantine Empire. While Europe was really these dark ages, wherever they did not accept the Christ as king, they were forced by the other demons. Satan was in the pit, but there were another 33% of demons, here. So shout out to this comment here, Trace Dojo. If you were Satan, you were locked up for 1,000 years. You would also call it the Dark Ages. Yes, that's what they all his minions. They call it Dark Ages. Justin Johnson expecting about that non-sexual. Put on my glass here. Everything about the heliosexual model is nonsensical. Yes, the spinning ball, spinning, accelerating, and slowing down is ridiculous. Brought to you, NASA's official sponsor, Nutella. Yeah, that Nutella stuff is not even, they don't, I think it's like 1% only. It's nuts. All right, guys, what else? I do want to play. Not going to play the whole song, okay? But this is the one that I prepared, and I don't want to get in trouble. But this song really gives me the bad vibes because I remember 2020, the beginning. So I'm just going to play one song, 1 minute of this song, and cut it off. It's just that you're going to have the bad vibes because these images, reminds me of something really evil, really evil. So let's listen to just like 1 minute, and then I'll cut off the song.
Turn on the news, it's all a lie. Elites in suits deciding who lives and dies. Gates on stage, smiling wide, talking population like it's genocide. They own the airwaves, control the feed. Big pharma profits while the people bleed. He stood up tall in that headlight glow. 2010, let the whole world know. 6.8 billion headed to 9, but with our shots and health design, we can lower that 10-15%. Didn't say kill, but that's what he meant. Jabs, healthcare, reproductive control, saving the kids, nothing in the soul. Big pharma pockets lined with gold, while we line up doing what we're told. Government pushes the needle deep, media calls us crazy if we speak. Bill Gates wants less of us on this earth, talking to population like it's rebirth. Shots in our arms for profit and gain. Big pharma laughs while we feel the pain. Government lies, media spins the tale. Wake up, fight back, we will not fail. We will not fail.
All right, guys, that's enough of that because it makes me sick. I put out this song because I had a video, as True Christian was saying. I had also, I don't know how many views, like 80,000 views was the dancing nurses. But it was, as many of my videos that I had during the pandemic, it was warning, community guidelines, warning, all that stuff. So I don't want to play with that. I don't know what's going on, if we can still play this kind of videos or not, but I don't want to take chances. All right, so couple more comments here. I'm just waiting 1:30 so I can end the show. I don't want to end like 1:33 or something. I don't want any Masonic numbers here. But these guys who are defending the Bawert, let me play this short video. This is recorded from TV, and you can see why they defended the Bawert, because it's part of their degrees. They gotta go up the degrees, and they gotta memorize the heliocentric model.
Brother Jonathan, where were you first prepared to be made a Freemason?
In the body of a lodge, just, perfect, and regular.
And when?
When the sun was at its meridian.
In this country, Freemasons' lodges are usually held in the evening. How do you account for that, which at first appears a paradox?
The sun being at the center of our solar system, and the earth consistently revolving around it on its axis, and Freemasonry being universally spread over the earth's surface, it necessarily follows that the sun must always be at its meridian with respect to Freemasonry.
So you can understand why, guys like Danny Faulkner and, all those guys are defending the Bow Earth because I think it's part of their religion or they subscribe to to this secret society, they're members of it and then they gotta defend what they teach. So I think that's why they're pouring so much money now and resources into the Bow Earth. I don't understand all these pastors. Someone, I was watching the video of this guy. He had been member of this church for 20 years. 20 years, same pastor. And they have a Facebook group. The church has a Facebook group, and he was there. So for 20 years, he was member of this church, and he shared many posts, weddings, birthdays, children being born, all that stuff. And he never had a comment from the pastor. The pastor never said anything. And then he was saying one day he posted something about Trump, complaining about Trump. And immediately the pastor reacted, negatively, scolding him. And he got really mad. He said, well, I remember this church. We've been friends for 20 years. You never said like, congratulations or happy anniversary or happy birthday to your children, And now you're going to defend, this guy. Same thing, I see Will Duffy and I see all these, let me share this again, this image. See them, where's my 121? Floppers, this one. I see them all joining forces right now. Atheists and, Bible hater, Jesus hater joins with pastor who joins with this dinosaur guy, creation, 6 days creation, Bow Earth believer, joining hand with Professor Dave, an atheist, joining hand with a Bitcoin guy. All these guys getting together to defend the Bow Earth, There must be something more than, they are very extremely fanatics for the Bow Earth because they are seeing no difference. They are joining hands. They are getting together to defend the Bow Earth. It really, after watching this short video, this ceremony, I think that's why they are defending it. That's my only conclusion. All right, guys, I think we can close the show now. It's safe. I appreciate you all being here today. Thanks so much. And Flat Earth Nurses in the house, thank you so much for being here. Patrick Shee, Lisa Yates, True Whisperer, all of you, True Christian. He is my administrator here. Is that what we say? I don't know. Moderator. Thank you so much for you guys who were here today. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope to see you guys next week. I'll be talking more. My idea is to have the show divided evenly between Flat Earth and the Little Season. But because I had so many things coming up, all those attacks, this guy sending me $1 so he could cuss me out and, defend David Wise. I just want to share with you guys. I see the mentality, the psychology behind some of the people who thinks that I should have me kept quiet, enabling all those shills, seeing what they were doing. They were literally throwing Flat Earth under the bus. So they're not Flat Earthers, they're just control position, central casting actors. See you guys next week. Love you, all of you. God bless and each and everyone. Christ is King now and forever. Take care, guys. See you later.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Picard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air, view stratospherious, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball on a helium balloon, with photos and instruments, sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles of depth, air pressure, up a dead drop in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by deceivers, false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, awesome, yes, stealing our light. Wonderful, legendary light, supernatural, eternal, supernatural. Up we go, higher than rainbows, higher than mountains, above cumulonimbus, higher than air, high level horizon, 360 around us, but right round behind us, any height that you dare. The sun and the moon both revolve above around us, to forever short time past intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, no more you deceive us, we see through you like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air, a level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning, no there. Stars on the firmament, turning all around us, to forever short time past geometrically there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air. Mystics of illuminant light, fantastical, magical, bright, we see through you like air. Magical angels of light, beautiful, wonderful, celestial light. The first to see truth when they reach for the stars, explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. Never you'll defeat us, forever beneath us, we see through you like air.